Let me start with a disclaimer. I might not be the best person to review this game because it is primarily a simulation racer and I am coming at it as a casual racing enthusiast. Forza Motorsport comes at a time when its spin-off franchise Horizon has delivered back-to-back hits, and the people who play racing games casually are asking themselves, do I really want to play this more serious sim racing game when I can have more fun in Horizon? As one of those racing casuals, I have found little to like in the new Forza Motorsport and a lot to dislike in the form of an annoying bug that has stopped me from completing the game's career mode entirely. Let's get into the details to see what's happening with Forza Motorsport. The free play mode is where you can try every car and every track that is available in the game at any time. There isn't much to say about this mode, there's no fuss, and the mode works exactly as intended. This is a great way to see how the game feels and is definitely the first thing to try before diving deep into the other game modes. The career mode is where my experience of playing the game got ruined, and it's all due to a bug that seems small but has wasted a lot of people's time. The career mode in Forza Motorsport is pretty standard. There are multiple series of races, each with its own theme like super sedans and muscle cars. You keep playing through each series to unlock the next one until you finish all of them. Nothing complicated about that. However, due to a bug in the game, some of the progress gets erased when you exit the game or when you perform certain actions that cause the game to get stuck, leaving you with no other option than to restart, which again erases progress. This meant that I had to play the same races over and over again, spending anywhere between 15 to 25 minutes per race, including all the navigation between the menus, only for that progress to be erased the next time I booted up the game. So, I couldn't progress a lot of the time, leading to a lot of frustration and eventually prompting me to uninstall the game in the last week of October, nearly 3 weeks after the game's launch. This bug seems to be affecting a significant number of people even today in early November, so it's a bit concerning that it hasn't been fixed so far. Apart from the bugs, the inclusion of a seemingly mandatory practice mode in each race is also a bit annoying. You can skip this session, but the option isn't made clear, and I wonder how many people have spent a lot of extra hours in these practice sessions, although you do get some credits and XP for going through them. This is where I spent the least amount of time because I don't play racing games for their multiplayer mode. I know there's a dedicated audience for online racing, but I don't have the patience to queue up for a race at a specific time and then hope that I don't get opponents who just crash into me all the time. From the few minutes I spent in the mode, it worked as intended, although there are a few complaints on the Forza subreddit about this mode as well, which I didn't look into too much. Okay, so complaints aside, how does the game actually feel to play? Well, that depends on whether you play the game casually or seriously, and with a controller or a Wii. As a casual player using a controller, I had no issues with the gameplay whatsoever. The cars felt good to handle, and the trusty rewind feature ensured that my terrible driving felt just a little bit better each time. For a lot of races, you get to choose your starting position on the grid, with a higher credit reward given the more you challenge yourself by going further down the grid. Speaking of credits, you earn a decent amount for every race, but seeing the prices of new cars, it's clear it won't be long before you run short and start thinking of buying a VIP pass which offers double the amount of credits for each race. It's an old sales tactic that has been a feature of these games for a few years now. The new addition to the Forza Motorsport formula is the individual leveling of each car, something that has been called as a Car PG feature. Upgrading certain parts on each car now requires that you level up that car enough to be eligible for those upgrades. You get XP to level up the cars just by playing the game and even during practice, but it still feels like an unnecessary tactic to pad up game time. There's enough variety in the number of cars and tracks available to keep things interesting, but I just wish the career mode worked long enough for me to try all of them. The fan base seems to be undecided on whether the game looks good or bad when compared to its rival Gran Turismo 7 on the PlayStation 5 or even the Horizon games on Xbox. Comparisons aside, I feel the game looks fine. It's a bit unfair to compare it with the Horizon games because they have the benefit of an open world setting where the environment is much richer. As for Gran Turismo, it doesn't have to deal with making the game run on a weaker console like the Xbox Series S. I use a Series S myself, so I have nothing against the console, but based on reports from multiple game developers, it is slowly starting to become an issue for games to run and look well on this slightly weaker machine. The game itself ran well on my Series S, but PC users have been complaining a lot on various discussion forums, which makes this game another addition to a list of disappointing PC ports this year. Like I said in the beginning, I might not be the ideal person to review this game, but thanks to Xbox Game Pass, a lot of casual racing fans such as myself will be trying out this game only to walk away disappointed, which isn't a good thing for Turn 10 Studios at all. Due to the curse and blessing of live service games, a lot of the bugs and issues will be fixed in the coming days, but until then, this is a hard game to recommend unless you have the time and patience to deal with a wide variety of issues.